Okay, so I know last episode we tried implementing a side collision detection function. And the previous episode we also did that same exact thing. And then I undid it, and then I redid it, and now we're going to undo it again. Because I think this is the wrong way of going about it. Instead of doing this function here, we can just test the x position of the two appropriate parties, right? So we can say if our ostrich's left side, our ostrich's x is a smaller number than our vulture's x, then we know the ostrich is on the left side of it. So we know it would be a right collides in some sense. But then we also have some kind of use cases, or I don't know what you would call them, like depending on the direction we're facing. Also, this is what we were trying to go at down here. It also depends which direction they're facing, not just what side of collision is being faced. And it depends where they're colliding for certain things as well, because I'm pretty sure if you collide like in the corners, you kind of just bounce or something. Let me see if that's the case. I'm gonna see if I can get the jankiest corner collisions. Like I'm looking like corner to corner. Well, it just flattened them out. So maybe there isn't a corner thing. It was like a oopsie. Okay. Yeah, there's not really a corner thing. Maybe I was just imagining that. Okay. Actually, this is like some of the best I've ever played in this game. Let's go, boys. Let's do this. Oh my god. I just got lavafied. Okay, I just have these two nerds to get. Dude, look at that egg logic. That's sick. How it bounces like that. That's sick. I don't think I've ever been to wave 4 before. Oh, eggs can fall in the lava. Now we can't wait too long for the pterodactyl to come out. Oh shoot, this is my last life, guys. Okay. Oh. Damn you. Oh. This is my last life for real, guys. Okay, I got this guy. This guy's a poser. And there's definitely not a pterodactyl coming any second. Oh my god. There. Oh. He got me last second. Okay. So maybe there isn't a corner case. But regardless, we need to check what direction they're facing and then what side type collision it is. But we don't need a function for that. We'll just need to check the x positions. So instead of this function, we'll just check the x positions. But yeah, let's work on I think for now the best bet is we've got the true AABB enemy collides function, and we'll turn off our left enemy collision function. And then we will, here, I wrote some code to check the joust height, because if I joust a vulture in the back, and our y's are equal, it'll turn him into an egg. But if you collide a little bit higher, like your joust would go not where the ostrich's butt is, but where the ostrich's back of head is, you're too high and you would just bounce in that case. So we need to do different collision logic based on the y position and the same facing position. It's hard to map all this out. So it's almost like it's so hard to wrap my head around this. The game design is truly impressive. Like the complexity now that I'm trying to make it, it's like, oh crap, like it's actually like surprisingly freaking complex. It works great though. Like the egg momentum, I don't know what the egg x velocity was like really different on that third wave, I think. But let's stay focused and try to do something. So there's a couple things. We're running our enemy collides on our vulture. Our ostrich enemy collides functions being run with a vulture as an argument. It is a parameter, but the values itself are the argument. Then we're checking so there's going to be 3 different things when we're colliding. Either it's going to be a same height collision, then we need to check the facing. There can be a joust higher on ostrich joust higher or a vulture joust higher. Which actually, it's so easy to determine that. Gosh. Okay, yeah, look, so we have player joust higher. If our y is smaller than our vulture's y, then player joust is higher. Yeah, because y is 0 on the top left matrix, or whatever you want to call it. And then if vulture joust is higher, it would be, our y would be greater than the vulture's y, meaning ours is lower on the screen, meaning vulture joust is higher. So within the y's, like first we kind of check the y's, right? Because this first nested if loop is checking the Y. So we have a same height, a joust higher, a vulture higher, but then within those we have, okay, now that we're same height, what directions are we facing? Because there's appropriate values for, oh gosh. Okay. Let me see what I wrote here. I wrote, if ostrich facing right and vulture facing right, meaning we're facing the same direction, if our ostrich's x is smaller than our vulture's x, I think this is wrong. I think this is ostrich's y. Our y is smaller than the vulture's y, then our joust is higher. So how do we want to implement this? Do we want to say, I mean, we already have a exploded Boolean that we're toggling to true when we're dead, right? Oh, we have an exploded Boolean and a death Boolean, which the exploded triggers the death animation, but the death is triggered upon true death, like no longer updating. Yeah, I guess what happens upon, what do we do under the self-death? It's just once explosion timer is set, our explosion timer gets set. Oh no. Our explosion timer gets set when we trigger the explosion. So death just turns true after explosion timer is longer than 3 seconds. But that's not when we're using logic with it, that's just when we're setting it. It says there's only 2 matches. Which makes me wonder why we even have it. And now we're getting an error here for some reason, and our code is a mess. Where were we just editing? Yeah, this. Yeah, this is why. We'll leave. See, we can't leave this. We just need to comment all this out real quick. Well, we need to go through and delete a lot of this chunked out code. Yeah, I'm gonna take all of this stuff and kind of just put it out of the way for now. I don't want to delete it because it was kind of working and we can use it as a reference, but we don't want it. We can just put it here. Okay. So now we can clearly see the vulture same height, vulture higher, joust higher, vulture joust higher, or player joust higher. Oh, are you kidding me? Did you see that? Ah, you can. I've never noticed the very apparent arrows here. I was wondering if you could do that. Okay, that's about to make things a lot cleaner. It also makes it harder to find stuff, so gotta keep that in mind too. Okay. Oh my god, okay. Holy crap. This is the biggest code thing I've ever done, for sure. Okay, so we took out our left collision, but we still need to check we need to check the left collision. So here we go. We'll start here on the same way, on the we'll do one at a time. So we have if self dot facing right and vulture facing right. Those are both true, or the opposite, not facing right. And inclusive, they both need to be facing the same direction, basically, is what we're trying to say here. Yeah. So this is the logic to put if facing same direction. Okay. Because there's a couple ways of doing this. Here we're doing it based on the y's. Once we're colliding, we're checking the y to see what type of collision, but also we could be doing it based on the facing directions, and then we could be checking the height, or depending on what values nested. So we'll try it this way first, the way I'm currently doing it, just because we've already done it this way. But there is probably another way to do it, to organize it. Because if we wrote like a flow chart of all the different behavior we knew we wanted, that's the hard part, is like, I don't know off the top of my head all the different responses one single collision can have. But there's like at least 8, depending on the way you're facing, the height of you and the vulture. Which way you're facing. Gosh. Let's just do this. We're facing the same direction. Then so here's the check. See, we can't have these two expressions paired, because actually, hold on, let me think. Oh yeah, we would just, I guess here is when we would check the left collision. Left or right collision by comparing the x. So how do we want to trigger the collision? I mean it's in the update loop, but are we just assigning, like for example, we would just assign our proper dx, which is reversed in some scenario. We would assign our dx, we would reposition our x on that very delta frame, and then that would set it so that it wouldn't be colliding, and that line of code wouldn't be executing next frame. So for our collision detection, I guess we just have to do those two things. We need to update with the appropriate logic, and then part of the appropriate logic is updating our either ostrich or vulture or both to the correct location so they don't accidentally trigger another collision in the very next frame. So I think we need to spread these apart. I think we need to spread those. And then I need to say, because we need to do a certain thing. Oh, fuck, hold on. Oh no. Because look, when do we check? When do we check the X position? Shouldn't we check it right here? Like, okay, they're same Y, but who's on the left? If ostrich Y, no, X, ostrich is X, is smaller than vulture's X, then we know it's a enemy right collides. I mean, maybe, yeah, do we define this? If we define it in terms of our ostrich, we would say that it would, since our X is smaller than the vulture's X, the vulture is on our right. So our collision detects a right hit. Because it's a right hit because it's in terms of our ostrich, our self.x. And then I guess we would say otherwise here. If our self.x is equal to or greater than vulture x, it would be left hit. Yeah. It would be hitting the ostrich's left, yeah. Okay. God damn. So then, here's where we test. If our y and vulture's y are same height, we're colliding. And then our ostrich's x is smaller than our vulture's x, meaning the vulture's on our right. What we need to do is assign, and no, this isn't it just yet, because yeah, it depends on which way we're facing. So when do we check when we're facing? Is it after we did check the left or right hit detection? I kind of feel like this if should be nested in this one. We're gonna have to, let's continue with the logic and see, because we need to swap our dx, our ostrich's dx, right? So we get self dx gets its current dx times the -1 to reverse it. Leftward velocity into rightward velocity, vice versa. But then we need to do the same to our vulture. So we'll say our vulture dx gets its current dx times the -1. But then we need to update our x position for both. Now, the x position is different based on the left and right hit detection. So that kind of tells me we can take, depends how we implement the facing directions. So yeah, when do we test facing directions? Well, there's only two options. Either the ostrich is on the left or the ostrich is on the right. But we know they're colliding and we know their Y's are the same. So we can say I think we need to do it here. We're going to see if ostrich is on the left. Then if ostrich is on the left, if they're both facing right, then a collision would need to turn a vulture into an egg. Whereas if they were facing alternate directions, if they were facing alternate directions and they collide and their Y's the same, they're probably moving towards each other, so it would just mean reverse dy, reset x position. I think this could possibly work. Okay. So I guess we can check the directions here. Check the facing directions. Our Y is the same. Our ostrich is on the left. I mean, yeah, I guess we can say that, but yeah. Should we say ostrich on left detection? Ostrich on right detection? We'll keep it this. I already did this. It means it's crazy because it's like what it means is arbitrary, but what it does is like hopefully it's what you wanted it to do. Okay. If I'm gonna add another freaking note, even say okay, if the ostrich is on the left side, ostrich is on the left and same height as vulture. Therefore, if we're facing the same directions, we're both facing right and we're colliding and our Y's are the same, we know that needs to trigger a vulture dot exploded. It doesn't trigger a death just yet because the exploded timer just needs to get to 0.3 or whatever. But by the time that timer gets to 3, that vulture will be triggered to death. The death boolean will be true, but we need to reset our X. No, we don't actually, because actually, yeah, we don't need to update our DX, or we don't need to change our DX, and we don't need to update our position. I think all we do is just turn the vulture to exploded. Because it should unaffect... No, hold on. No, yeah, it should just explode the ostrich and turn him into an egg. Because that's the equivalent of us hitting him in the butt with a joust. But then we need to say... the opposite. If they're both facing left, then there's two other options, right? Of ostrich being on the left or ostrich being on the right. Oh, but no, we're checking it here. So this is only the left hit for facing left. If they're both facing left, and this is an ostrich is on the left side, then that means an ostrich would need to get exploded. I don't think do we have, oh no, yeah, we do have a self-exploded Boolean. Right? Self-exploded. Now, when do we change self-exploded currently? We changed the timer. Okay, looks like our end is messing up, but we're not done writing code here just yet. Great. Sorry guys, I'm looking for the end we're missing to screw this up. Which I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it'll tell me that's not what I wanted, even though it's what I told it to do. And on 251. 251. Missing an and. Did that fix it? No? Syntax error. Expected. Oh, parentheses. Missing a parentheses. Sorry, this is a mess. Did that fix it? It looks like it might have. Oh God. It's looking for parentheses. I don't know why that would be the case. Where do we need parentheses, dude? Does it do not do two ands in Lua? Love 2D? Oh, you really just write and. Or. I think I'm thinking of C coding that is and. You literally just write and. Okay. I just want to see if it boots. Okay. Because when you tweak the code for so long, sometimes you bust stuff, and then, you know, I'm trying to implement this particular case hitbox scenario. So we've covered the instance where we're colliding, we're the same Y, we're on the left side, our ostrich is on the left side, but we're the same Y, and we're facing the same directions. So in this loop here, we need to check. The good news is there's multiple, let me put this, I'll just write it. So there's another scenario here. We could be facing different directions. So the first instance of that is if we're facing right and vulture is not. And if that's the case, we need to set, if we're facing different directions, that means we're facing each other because a collision's detected. We can't really collide. Actually, hold on. No, yeah, fuck. We can actually collide. Like, for example, we could be flying, we could be in the air, and then we turn the opposite direction in the air while we're flying. Then we can collide with an ostrich's butt. And does that bounce us or does that kill us? I would think it would. Would it kill us? I think we would just bounce off. If our butt hits an ostrich butt, it's gotta be so hard to do that though. Let's find a vulture, try to hit him with our butt. We have to hit its butt with our butt. That's not what we wanted, sorry dude. It's really hard to hit someone in the butt with your butt. Hope you guys know this. It literally clogged out the pterodactyl up there. Well, my butt just killed them. Did you see that? My butt literally just killed them. This kind of throws a wrench into my... Oh, see, look. We hit its butt with our butt and we turn directions. So we've got that covered. But if we hit an ostrich's butt with our butt in the air, or actually if we can, it doesn't matter which way we're facing. If we win the high joust contest, we turn them into an egg. So that's a good thing to keep in mind of. But in this particular scenario, if we're facing different directions, we're facing left. This is still when the ostrich is on the left of the collision. If we're facing right and the vulture's facing left, then we need to swap our DX and reset our positions. So we need to do our self DX, our vulture DX, but then our self X and our vulture's X as well. And our DX would get our current DX times -1. Same with the vulture's DX, we're just swapping those velocities. But then if the ostrich is on the left, we don't actually change our ostrich position. We just reset its DX. We do change the vulture's X though. We set our vulture's X to be the end of our ostrich's X plus our ostrich's width. So we're setting it to the very right side, not colliding with our ostrich, which at this point has a reversed dx, an opposite dx of what we have, so we should never collide, or yeah, we shouldn't collide in the next few frames. But yeah, we're setting the vulture's x, swapping both our dx. The reason was I didn't want to calculate a middle ground for the collision to determine where to set our vulture's x, so I just decided our vulture just gets, or our self ostrich object doesn't get moved. Rather, the vulture one does, because we're the player one, right? So we've got a couple instances of logic for very particular cases, but we need to flesh this out so that every collision case is actually covered. So we need to make sure that if this function gets turned true, some kind of logic happens, depending on the collision. Because right now, it would only change something once these parameters are met, once that logic's met. But we need it coming up with something, even if it's default logic. Or we just make sure our if loop here is perfectly nested, perfectly covered, meaning every version of it. Where do we say this? Oh my god. Yeah, here. So when we two collide, we're just asking 3 conditional statements, checking the y values of 2 objects of our collision, and they have to either equal each other, or one has to be greater, or the other has to be greater. So we should be good on all those use cases as long as we fill them out with logic. So we've got ostrich facing right, vulture facing right, same y, and ostrich is on the left. Now we need we actually need to do if we're facing the other direction, if ostrich is on the left, ostrich is still on the left, but it's facing left, and vulture is facing right. Shoot. Yeah, because if our butt hits a vulture facing us, we should die, because that's a butt joust collision. So we need to give this another set of instructions. If not facing right, also if we're not facing right and our vulture's facing, wait, hold on a sec. No, I want to see if we are, oh no, wait, hold on. Facing left and the vulture's facing right. This is wrong. Sorry, I think this is not. We want to explode us when the vulture is facing left and we're facing left. When the ostrich is on the left. When the ostrich is on the left, if we're both touched, that means we were touched in the butt. That means vulture, or that means we are exploded. And if we're both facing right, that means ostrich is on the left, that means vulture exploded. Then we're saying if we're facing right and the vulture's facing left, that means we need to swap our dx and reset our vulture's x position. But if we're facing right, no, I want to see if, yeah, so if not facing right and facing right, that's what threw me. Vulture not facing right. Yeah, this is right now, or this is more correct than what I had, I think. Because now we're saying if we're facing left, that means like ostrich, we're colliding, our ostrich is on the left, we're facing left, but the vulture's facing right, that means we die. Self that exploded. Gets true. So trying to see why we only set our vultures. Like, we get exploded in two scenarios. We get exploded if the vulture is hitting our butt, and if we're standing facing left and a vulture hits us, we would explode. But also, if we're facing right, if we're facing left and the vulture's facing right, yeah, we don't need this. Because we've already got this instance and it results in the same us being exploded, so we don't need that. So this is the right hit detection. Now we need the left hit detection. So everything, if our ostrich is on the left now, here we go. Now we can say almost the same thing, right? But like slightly different. This is why we need this, because we need different X positions to reset our vulture to. That's what was so confusing. That's why I was trying to do the other functions of collision for the left and right detection. That was just so bloated. We just need to check the X positions here. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. My PC just decided to update and restart. Isn't that messed up? My PC just updated itself. I was like using it, like I had Windows open and stuff. So guys, just like how this game is so well thought out with an input, like pressing right can mean so many things in this game. It can make you stop, it can make you stop and turn, it can make you stop and turn and go, it can make you, get to full speed, it can change your direction when you're in the air, it can initiate a skid. I guess I'm trying to say that just like how that has so many different things, all this logic for the collision I wasn't thinking was going to be this intense, this many different logic scenarios. Because look, we have three different instances of data just for when, or 3 instances of instruction just under the if we collide and our y's are the same, and an ostrich is on the left of a vulture. That's how much logic we need just for that one scenario. We also need all the times player joust is higher, all the times vulture joust is higher, then also the other times that ostrich is on the right, triggering a left hit detection. That's pretty wild. The most advanced hit detection, or like the most I would do with hit detection is like, is it a hit detection? If so, like change a value, decrement a value by 1. But this is like, really got to think of yeah. So I'm like looking at my notes here and I'm saying there's another bit where I'm saying if we're facing the same direction, our y is not necessarily the same, but there's a joust kind of limit. How would I put this? You know, if this is a vulture, this is a player, this is a joust. If we're both facing this direction, our joust hits him in the butt, that would kill him. But if our joust is up here, the animation only draws like the head skinny here and the butt comes out here. But if the joust goes here where it like would detect collision before the joust actually makes contact, it just resets dx and resets x to bounce off. So we would only get a true, or a vulture turning into egg, if the y position of our jousty is in between the middle range. So what I have it is I have it as the vulture's y plus half of its height, giving us the middle point. And then I'm saying if the self.y of our ostrich is smaller than, you know, give us a 20 pixel buffer or wherever on either side, or whatever we want to do. I wrote height divided by 3. That's a good way of doing it. Determining the gap of pixel acceptance for the joust to be to trigger a vulture to die from an explosion if we're both facing the same direction and colliding. Jesus. But yeah, I have it height divided by 3, so determining it in relative terms to our item that we found the middle of just then. So it gives us, you know, a total gap of this. Well, no, it would be actually. Maybe it would be we would need to do a sixth of the height to give us a total of a third of the distance. We want the middle third to be triggering a vulture explosion. So we'll say it's our ostrich's y, our vulture's y plus half of its height, and then we're making sure our ostrich's y is smaller than half of the height plus the sixth of the height, but bigger than the middle height minus a sixth of the height. So make sure it's in between these values. The y of our player, of our ostrich, is in between those values on the vulture for when we're both facing right. But that's more so, shoot, it's just a hard case because that scenario doesn't even fall under what we have built out here. because we have it if the player joust is higher or if the vulture's joust is higher, but it should be kind of determined on which way they're facing first. Shouldn't it? Shouldn't it? Yeah, because we don't even want to, well, oh, this is tough. It's hard to explain the difference of that. How do you explain the difference of checking first the facing directions or checking the Y positions to see which one's higher? I think facing actually makes more sense. I think facing actually makes more sense to have the first if block, because depending on which they're facing determines, god damn it, but the same, you can say the same thing about determining their Y determines whether the logic. So what's the difference there? Because this came up, you know, if I'm hitting a vulture in the butt in that middle third range of his height, or middle third range of his sprite, I should do something, but that would come into, let's say if it's above, it would come into this one, then it would also have to cycle through, okay, are we both facing right? Are we both, I don't know. I guess let's just continue. I'm like imagining the problems before I've run into them, so I'm gonna just let myself run into them and then we'll work on fixing them. So we've got these instances. Now we need to do the left hit detection. So now we need to say, if ostrich is on, I need to leave myself another freaking note saying ostrich is on the right. Okay. So ostrich is on the right. We're going to say if we're facing right, ostrich is on the right. You know, we need to hit every one of these. We need to see if every one of these instances are being hit. So if, you know, we need a Punnett square of like getting each one of these. We need self facing right and vulture facing right. But we need not facing right, not facing right. Then we've got facing right and not facing right, but we don't have not facing right and facing right. Oh God. This doesn't sound right to me. So if we're, goddamn. Let me just write out real quick the order of this shit. Okay, here. Right here we have facing right and right. Okay. Then we have left and left. Okay. Then we have right and left, but we need left and right. So either we wrap this up in an else as a catch-all if those two behaviors are the same, or we do a last else as a catch-all and do it, well, we would just add the last instance. So Our ostrich is on the left. We are colliding. Our Y's are the same. Our ostrich is facing right, and our vulture is facing left. We're colliding. So this should reset our DX, which should then swap our sprite, reset our vulture's X, and then move us on our merry way. So we need the last one. We can say else and just do it because the last instance will get caught. But if we are on the left, we're facing left, vulture's facing right, and we collide and the vulture's on the left. This is the one that we need to bounce. We need to bounce. The vulture needs to continue on its way. So we need to bounce. We'll give ourselves our current dx times -1, but then our vulture doesn't need to be touched. This is the one time we should set our x position so it's not overriding. It would be the vulture's x shifted by our self.width. That's the only time we should do it, because the vulture would be flying in that case, and we'd fly into his butt with our butt, because he's facing right and we're facing left, yet we're on the left side and a collision's detected, which can happen. I've tested it. We just tested it. So we've got these 4 instances. Part of me wants to be verbose about this and put the last facing left and then facing right here. But in theory, else should get us the job done. So unless it's a problem, I'm going to keep it like that. So I think it's safe to say we've got all the logic for the collision for when our Y's are the same and our ostrich is on the left side of our vulture. Now, it took us however long to get this far. Now we need to get all the instances of the right, ostrich colliding on the right. So we need the same window. We need, the Punnett square, we need to, if they're both facing right, and then if we are both facing left, we need us facing right, and them facing left. So facing right and okay. And then we need these ones, Okay. We're good. This is great practice for making video games. Yeah, the best way of doing anything is by doing it, so it's a great way to do it. I'm just happy I've been able to make it this far without a tutorial or anything, Just gotta make it up ourselves. Okay. Ostrich is on the right. we're facing right, vulture's facing right, our y's are the same, we need to get exploded. We're on the right. We're facing left. The vulture's facing left. Yeah, we're colliding. Vulture's on the right. Vulture would need to explode. Okay, we're on the right. We're facing right. And our vulture's facing left. That means we fly and bounce into their butt with our butt. We would reverse our dx. We're going to reverse our dx. We're going to set our x to be equal to the right side of our vulture, which would be our vulture's x plus our vulture's width. So we ensure not collision again. And we could be more if we're on the right. We're facing right, and we collide with the vulture facing left. Our butt would be hitting their butt, and we're on the right. Okay. So our dx needs to get set to be positive, right? Do we code in a purely positive dx here? Could our dx be negative? Or could our dx be... Yeah. So for this to give the right input, we would have to be moving left beforehand, which is dx negative. It would turn positive when we would multiply it by a -1, but if for some reason, yeah, I guess we just leave it. If it comes to problems, we can code in a hard positive number there, but it shouldn't mess up, because I don't think you can collide with us being on the right, them being on the left, because ostriches can't fly backwards. So if we're hitting each other on the left side, on our butt side, it's going to be because we were moving to the left and facing the other way. So I think our dx is safe to say it would be negative there at that point. Okay, then we need the last thing is, if we're colliding, we're on the right, we're facing left, vulture's facing right. That's when we need to bump and reset our vulture's dx. So we need to swap both of our dx's. So I'll just swap ours first. We'll get our current dx times a -1. We will also not set our x, we'll just set the vulture dx to be flipped. We need a bounce. Multiplying it by a -1 to get the opposite velocity. Then we need to reset our vulture's x. And if we're on the right, we're facing left, vulture's facing right, and we collide, we need to move our vulture's x to be the left side of our player. So we need to say our self.x shifted by our vulture's width. That should give us the right side of our player without colliding. So this is all y's are equal logic. So let's test out and see if all of our grounded y's seems to be running as intended. So he should bounce off me. Nothing should happen to us. All right, collision was detected, no? Oh God. What happens there? What happens there? We move our player to the right. The only time we're moving our player to the right is if Ostrich is on the right. Ostrich wasn't on the right in that case. Fuck. Okay, hold on, let me see. Here, I'll write this down. So it's like our y's are equal. We're facing right, they're facing left, and we move our x for some reason. So we need to find where our y's are equal. Our x was smaller than the vulture's x, so Ostrich was on the left. We were facing right, so we were facing right. They were facing left. So we were facing right, they were facing left. We swap our dx, which shouldn't be the case. We need to swap only their dx and reset. Actually, hold on. No, that's a good point. If we're walking, we need to bounce and walk. But if we just stand there, we just stand there. Fuck. It's another instance of something different. So I'll do if we're standing still first. So I'll say, if we're facing right and vulture's facing left, and our current dx is 0. If we're not moving, then we don't update our dx. Oh, my mouse just died. Let me get some batteries real quick. Yeah, I'm thinking if we can get just the y equal collision, when y's are equal colliding on the ground here, if we can get all those working today, that would be a huge success. So this is not moving. And if we're not moving, we don't reset our dx, we just move the vulture. But what's weird is we were moving our x, meaning that I think this thing was being triggered, which shouldn't have, because it moved our x, it flipped us, which it should not have done. But that would mean we are facing right and vulture's not facing right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna try to be verbose about this now. So I'm gonna say if not facing right, we are not facing right, and vulture is. Okay, be a little more verbose about it. I don't know, I mean, that shouldn't have been the case. It should work without it, so I don't know why. But if self okay, let's test this. It did explode us when they hit us in the back with a joust, so that's good. But we need to not move here if we get hit. What's changing our X, dude? What's changing our X, dude? The only thing changing our X is right here, no? We have this and we have this. I'm gonna turn both those off and see if we still move when we get hit. We shouldn't move when we get hit. Okay, it didn't detect the collision. Okay, shit. So one of those two was responsible for, it was probably this one, was responsible for moving our X when we get hit when we're on the left. No, it just walks right through. See, that's not right. What's going on, dudes? Does that mean like it didn't mess up? It messed up in a different way that time, you know, which is unheartening. See, okay, so that tells me bad things. Turning this one off was the one that's moving our X. But this can only happen if we're facing right, which was true, and Vulture was facing left, which was true. But it needs to be only if our X is greater than Vulture X, which our X was not greater than Vulture X. So I'm gonna be verbose here too, saying, you shouldn't have to do this. It should be, I don't know. I don't know why it does that. Do you need a then for if else's? Or else if? I think you just don't need a, well, no, I don't. Let me see if that changes anything. Bro. That's so weird. If self.x is greater than vulture x, but that's not the case. Why would this line of code be going off? We would be colliding, true. Our y's would be the same, true. But our x would not be greater than our vulture's x. So how is this line of code shifting it wrong? That makes no sense to me. This line of code should only execute when our x is greater than our vulture's x. I'm gonna take this same exact expression and say that we're gonna print shoot, hold on. This is only upon us being equal, so our y's being equal. So this doesn't really help us debug. So our logic is getting insane, okay? Okay. So our y's are the same. Checking x's. Okay. See, this is the first mistake. Wait. No, yeah, our y's are the same. And our x's, if our x is smaller than vulture's x, do something. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I want to say something like if our ostrich my idea is I want to use the same idea to print out debugging info for this stuff. So under the same function, I'm going to say ostrich render if self.x is smaller than vulture.x, meaning ostrich is on the left, I want you to go ahead and print out ostrich on left, and then I'm going to say else print out vultures on the left, and we'll do just vulture 1 is the one on the right there, so we'll say vulture on left, but we don't need to concatenate it with anything. But yeah, not vulture.x, because vulture doesn't mean anything to this point, but we can say vulture's table at index 1.x, because that should be our right vulture. So let's see. Ostrich on left, vulture on left. It looks to be working. Why does it switch our X there? Fucking. Bro. So by the time it switches us, ostrich is on the left. Where is our collision for our vultures? Okay, if our dx is 0, meaning we're standing still, we're not swapping our dx. But we do need this if our dx is then we would need to do this, but also switch our dx. That doesn't make any sense to me. If we hit plus 100 here to prove that it would set this vulture, or it would set our position to be way, way far. Yeah. That means that this line of code was executed, and that means that this line of code was evaluated true. When our x is greater than the vulture's x, that's when it gets swapped. But we need to swap our x here. Oh, see here. Wait. We were facing right. They were facing left. We were facing right. They were facing left. And our dx was 0. Swap. Yeah, this one should happen. If we're just standing there, this one should execute, which doesn't move us, but this one would move us. This continues to prove to be way harder than I ever expect it to be. Like, it's going on 3 episodes of trying to figure out vulture collision detection, you know? No, we should be able to keep this. We should be able to keep this on, because if our dx is 0, 0 times negative 1 is just going to be 0, so it shouldn't move us. I don't know why we're just disappearing now. Now it's not, now it's not messing up by moving us. So why was it moving us? Why does it do that, dude? Because what's happening there should be this line of code. Because our y's are equal. Our x is smaller than the vulture's x. And we are facing right. And vulture is not facing right. Okay. So we're facing right, and the vulture's facing left. We're going to reverse our dx, which if we're standing still would still be 0, but if we're walking, it would make us walk the other way, and then it would do the same with the vulture. I'm going to say math.abs here. For the vulture dx, I don't think it's going to change anything, but just in case it might, I want to see. Because I don't know why that line of code wouldn't be executing upon a collision. Why would this one get executed before this one on a collision? Okay. So. You know, I'm gonna put the facing rights first, or the player. I did the same thing, dude. That's why I copied instead of cut, because last time I did that, I lost my chunk of code. So, if we're facing right and they're facing right, do one thing. If we're facing right and they're facing left, do another thing. If we're facing left, they're facing right, do a thing. They're facing right. You know, I don't think we need these thens. Wait, no, yeah, we do. We don't need ends. Okay, we don't have any. Okay. Yeah, so like, since the debugging is printing based on these code blocks, if we print right hit detection upon self X being smaller, right here we would say right hit detection, and then this would be left hit. We can use that as a way of seeing which line of code block might be getting executed, but okay. It still executes the wrong code block. How do we do it, guys? I want to see if I'm using else ifs correctly in Lua. Or in Love, rather. I guess it would be Lua. Yeah, else if, then. Still need the then. Else no then, but need an end. Okay. You guys, I couldn't tell you why that's not working. What do we do different? We'll get under our enemy collision in our vulture class, or our ostrich class. We're cycling through all our vultures, checking for collision on our enemy collides function, which our enemy collides function is true AABB collision. Is that right? If our left side is smaller than the right side of the enemy, but bigger than the left side of the enemy, and our top of our image is smaller than the bottom part of their image, but it is the bottom of our image is also greater than the top of their image. That would be a collision. Okay, so that should be true. Hold on, let me think. Yeah. Okay. I guess we can say I don't know if we should do that. I don't know, because these other ones all just return false otherwise. We're not swapping our vulture's DX. We're not swapping our vulture's DX. Why is that failing? If we go to our vulture collision, we are changing our DX to be positive. If we are the same Y, our X is smaller than the vulture X. Yeah. We're colliding. Our Y's are the same. We are on the left side of our vulture. Does that code work for that? Why not? Yeah. Our leftmost point is smaller than their leftmost point, so we're on the left. And we are facing right and they are not facing right. So this line of code should execute. Now, if I was facing right and they were facing right, which they walk left until they bounce. So it's hard to test those, but I mean, we have to program, to test those, but that would mean we'd be facing right. That would mean we walk into them. We walk into their butts facing right. But for whatever reason, this vulture DX is not getting updated. And instead, this line gets executed first. So why is that the case? If self-facing right and not vulture-facing right, not vulture-facing right is facing left. So that's the case. It'd be a collision. We'd be facing right. They'd be facing left. Then we would swap our DX and their DX and move them, not move them at all, and instead do this. If self X is greater than vulture X. Ostrich is on the right. Yeah. I couldn't tell you why it's still messing up. It shouldn't move us. It should not move us. As soon as it detects collision, it should freeze and change that vulture's DX, which it's not doing. So I don't know what to do. Doesn't make sense that this would be, I don't know why this would make sense. Or I don't know why it's messing up. It would probably make sense if I understood, but I'm not following right now. I don't get why this block of code is executing this line of code when it's not executing this one. I mean, because we'd be facing right. Therefore, yeah, so this might be working correctly. It's just since it... See, it's like, what if we just say... How about we say self x is 0? As soon as we right collide with this thing, we're moving our x position to be 0. That should prevent him from walking through us. See, that just proves this is not working. Part of me wants to say... Nope, I don't know what to do. So look, I'm just trying to see our x become 0 because we not only detected a collision, but our y's were the same, and we were on the left side of them, and we were facing right and they were facing left. Just like they walk into me and I want my x to move to 0 to prove that that code block is executing instead of the other one, but the other one keeps executing. So see, the one that is executing is over here, the corresponding one. We could set this to plus 100 and you'll see when it hits us, it'll walk through us. It shouldn't walk through us. Yeah, for some reason this one is never getting populated and this one is. If our x is smaller than vulture x, let me just put smaller than 10,000. I want to move us to the left. There we go. So it might be in our left logic, whatever you want to call it. So by the time it kills us, okay. So this, changing that makes us move to the right now because it's executing the second block of code and not the first. Is that right? Yeah. I don't want it to move us that way. It's moving us this way because this is evaluating to false somewhere. When it shouldn't be. Ostrich is on the left. Yeah. What if for shits and giggles I just swap these? Is that going to be totally awful and busted? I just don't get why it's like the complete opposite of what I would think. Ew. I'm so confused, guys. I'm so confused because we can say we need this to be smaller, this to be bigger, right? And if we code in a value we know is bigger than our x, we do actually set our x to 0. Okay. But this shouldn't be evaluated on that. I think it's because right here when I use vulture, it's using the vulture in this instantiation, but then it'll go through another list. It'll go through the next vulture and it'll see that yeah, this has got to be the vulture it collides with. It is the vulture it collides with. We should only be able to collide with one vulture at a time. So the vulture at this, I wonder if we can say vulture's table at the kth index. Not here. I want here. Oh my god. Because this is checking. This vulture Y is checking. Yeah. So the problem is, since this is hard coded to the same variable name, it's overriding that variable name when it iterates through the second vulture. I'm thinking if we had one vulture, this wouldn't be a problem. But since we do, we have to not put this at vulture.y, but put it at our vultures table.y at our kth index. So like, vulture is the value that is stored in the table of vultures, and k is the index of the appropriate vulture table that we're iterating through. So same with this, where we're saying every time we say vulture here, we want to say which vulture, and it's the specific vulture that we're looping through. So vultures, I'm pretty sure that's right. That's why that code block is never executing. So I'm going to take this vultures at kth index and put it anytime we have a dot for our vulture, right? Or like, yeah, our vulture k dot facing right, our vulture k dot facing right. Vulture K. I think this will make a difference. This is the only thing that's making sense based on what I've been seeing coming out of this thing. I think it is just overriding the different vulture tables. Wait. Yeah. Vulture.x. Okay, yeah. Vulture.x is actually vulturek.x. Okay. And then same thing for here. And vulture facing right. Vulture facing right. Vulture dot exploded. Vulture facing right. Vulture X and vulture width. Actually, yeah, I should have, before I pasted it over all the things, I should have seen if it would work. Because if I still have to fix it, I have to go back and update all these. So yeah, just lessons. Lessons I'll find out right now because I'll have to do it, I'm sure. This one got called again. I was hoping it would set our X to 0, not 100. Keep running into problems. Can I print out k.x? Okay. Doesn't know how to do k.x. We'll just do vultures1.x. I don't know what to do, man. It's so backwards. It shouldn't be triggering this other collision. I don't get why it is. Okay, well. I guess I'm curious in the implementation of this table loop if this value vulture gets overridden, or this value actually gets overwritten per table member, or if it gets like assigned per table member. I really don't know what to do. I just like want it to detect a right collision and stop, you know, like if it. Part of me thinks we call it, but we haven't made any progress. 2 hours and not much progress, you know. What do we do different? I just don't get why the left hit detection is triggering. Why would that be the case? My other idea to fix this is to go not to check the X's first, but to check the directions first. So you only have to check the directions once. But then we have to check the X's multiple times for every direction, which I guess is fine. I mean, I don't get what's going wrong in our loop here. That is just never assigning the proper value, even though all conditions on the surface seem to be true. So, what I will do is comment out all this. Okay. You heard me. We're doing a... Shit. Fucking Christ, this is a mess. Okay. Okay. Well, should we try it? First we get facing right, facing left table. Or not table, but yeah, we need to do. Okay. So in our new logic for collision, first thing we're determining is what direction we're facing. And we're going to say if our self dot facing right and vulture dot facing right, then do something else if self facing right and not vulture dot facing right, do something else if not facing right and facing right, then do something. Instead of an else, I'm going to be verbose about it. I'm going to say else if not facing right, not vulture facing right. Then do the the last thing. Okay. One other thing I'm going to do for now is put in one instantiation of a vulture. Okay. One vulture. Does that mean I think this end is already covered for down here. Okay, we got just the one. And then, yeah, we're gonna try to do all the right detection with that. So now, with our vulture collision, now we need to check X's. Well, we need to say, actually, yeah, we need to say, here's if our Y's are matching. But we also need instead of doing the facing left, facing right, or I'm calling it left hit detection or right hit detection because I'm trying to just say whoever's X is leftmost. Is going to be the left hit. So what I think the way to do it is to maybe say if self.x is smaller than, I mean, this is the same code that got us the problem in the first place, so I'm not wanting to do it, but I don't see what's wrong with my logic, because if we're saying if our X is smaller than vulture's X, what that is telling us is ostrich is on the left. Else on the right or equal to X, but that's okay. So it's like we need all of these for if ostrich is on the right too. And yeah, so look. We're looking for facing right and facing right. For both facing right, ostrich is on the left. We want to explode our vulture. Fucking Jesus, oh my God. I should have just coded it live with you guys here. So this is ostrich is on the left. So if ostrich is on the left and we're colliding and we're facing right and the vulture's facing right, that means our vulture gets exploded. So we assign true to our get exploded to our exploded variable in our vulture object. Now the thing I'm really worried about is just I'm facing right, our y's are equal, we're colliding, and the vulture is facing left. This is the one that is just never working, so I'm going to just say our self.x gets set to be 0. That's all we do. So if we don't move, okay, I'm hoping this will reset our x position to the left, but I don't think it'll do anything. And that's the problem. So it's like, even with the one vulture, you know, if we hard code this in, fucking Christ. If we hard code this in and say vulture in the vulture's table at index 1 dot x, we're going to say if our x is smaller than vulture's at index 1 member field x, then all I want to do is freaking move our x to be 0. Can you do that? Because it's as simple as that. This is getting dangerous. These two ends need to go. Nope. Actually, they need to stay. Wait. Oh no. Oh no. What's going on? What are you meant at? Else if 660. What got so fucked up here? This isn't liking this. Bro, what is going on? If that's the closing function for this one, oh my god, it's so hard to see this shit. Even looking for? What am I even looking at? Okay, so I try to turn this off, which I turned this off, but we still needed, actually those two ends are actually extra. So we can just come here and say we need to I don't know. I'm just going to put 2 commented ends here, and I'll comment out the other ones, but leave them there. Shit. I'm so stupid, man. This is in our update function. So for some reason, it's not liking any of this shit. Where's this line? If not self-exploded. If not self-exploded. That's this line. So this else if. Oh my god, what does it say? Bro, what? I mean, you see the problem here, right? I mean, it's 670 lines of code. And I'm trying to find the proper ends. So instead of checking this enemy collision, I turned that all off. Which actually fucked with anything here. So we're just gonna turn this off too. That should fix our problem. Maybe. No. It didn't like that. We don't have an end for... Okay, god damn it. So it's like we have too many ends somewhere. Got enough there, got enough there, got enough there. Actually, I think this one needs to be there. This one's got one. Actually. Okay. This is still not right. Okay, god damn it. This. Must be something we left out in our vulture. Fuck. It's gotta be having to do with these, right? Okay. That might have been it. Okay, this one needs a end. This is messy. We need to clean this up ASAP. But it's hard because we've got a bunch of different code that we're trying out and we're trying to test it out. So that's why we're messing with it. But 71. Really? Bro. I really don't know. Okay. The Ys weren't working. It was in our... Okay, now that we've changed this, yeah. We have to say if self.x... No, self.y is equal to our vulture at table 1. Vultures at table 1. Y. If those are equal, then if our x is smaller than their x, set our x to 0. Okay. We're just... That's not right. So yeah, it's not as simple as I thought. But it actually, why would a collides become true there? Because we're only doing this, actually now we have to also say if self enemy collides with our vultures index 1, then okay, now we'll see. I just want to move me all the way to the left upon a right collision on this guy. I don't know why I can't figure that out. Why can't I do that? Like, can I just print out if we're actually colliding? Okay, let's say, now we've got that in there. Not colliding, not colliding, not colliding. Do we collide? Okay. So you are detecting that we're colliding, yet oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. God damn. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. been looking for, dude. Here. It's messing up right here for whatever reason, like, because their y should be equal. They were colliding. They just weren't setting our x. We just need to do something other than this. But I don't get why that wouldn't work. If our x is a smaller number than their x. Yeah. I don't get why that wouldn't work. Then set my x to 0. So I guess, does this, if I swap this, would it actually move us, or is that wishful thinking? I'm just trying to figure out why it's doing what it's doing. I don't get what it's doing. It should move me, move me. It does move me when it's backwards. If we're colliding and our x is bigger than the vulture's x, move our x. No? Does it move us like right upon that first frame of collision? Not really. Well, why does that have the effect? And why does smaller than if x is smaller than vulture's x? Our x would be smaller than vulture's x because vulture's on the right. But when we do the smaller, we never move us. What is happening there, dude? I don't get what's happening there. That does nothing. It detects the collision, but it does nothing. Our y's are the same. It detects the collision, but it does nothing because this is swapped. I don't get why this is the righter answer. Why that's giving the better. If self x is greater than vulture's x. See, that makes it seem like the vulture has to get is greater than vulture's x. Like maybe we want to say the right side of our x plus our width is greater than vulture's x, then set our x to 0. Come on, set us to 0 right when you touch. Right when you touch. Okay. But that's greater than 0. We want less than 0, or less than. I'm curious if that changes our stuff at all. Bro. I don't get why this has to be flipped to the opposite of what I'm understanding it to be. We have to make sure the right side of our outstretch is bigger than. No. What do we do here, dude? If our vulture's x, meaning Fuck. If our vulture's X, right? If our vulture's X is smaller than the right side of ourself, then we want to detect that collision, right? If our vulture's X is smaller than the right side of our ostrich, move our ostrich to the left. Please tell me that works. I can't think of anything simpler than that. Please move me to the left when you collide. Okay, so at least that works. So now, this makes more sense to me for the collision detection. So now, okay, I gotta build this out. But we gotta build it out with this code. But this code had some busted things that we turned off. So I'm gonna turn those off again. Then I'm gonna turn this on again. And then these two need to be on. And does that at least boot us? Okay. So let me now try this new code. We've got this new code, right? We're checking the vulture's X against our X. So instead of saying this, instead of saying is our X smaller than the vulture's X, we're going to be saying if our vulture's X is smaller than the right side of our ostrich, then we know we have a collision with the ostrich on the left. Is that right? No, that's not right. Shit. No, I don't know. Because this is how we determine, oh God. This is how we determine what side we're being hit by. So if our X is smaller than, if our vulture's X is smaller than the right side of our ostrich, the vulture's on the left side of that. So this should be oh my God, this is insane. Where's our old code for that? We literally just deleted it. This is it. We're saying if our vulture's X is smaller than the right side. Yeah. See, so we don't want to just, we don't want to do that. I mean, we needed to define it differently because there's a time when that vulture's X could be smaller than the right side of the ostrich, but we need to do something different because it's actually on the right side, or it's on the left side of the ostrich. Fucking goddamn it. Okay. So we just need a way to determine what side is collisioned on the second it's collided. I have to go pee. I'll be right back. I'm very confused to why just checking the X position isn't good enough. We're colliding. The X that's lower is the one that's on the left. Right. Okay. I'm going to comment out our new code so we can work on our old code here again. We're going through every vulture, which for now is just one, but we're seeing if we're colliding, we're seeing if we're equal in Y. Then we need ostrich on the left. So how do we determine if the ostrich is on the left? We're going to say ostrich is on the left if the vulture's X is greater than our vulture's X is greater than our ostrich's X, then ostrich is on the left. Like, why doesn't that work? You know? Because didn't we have... Shoot. Let me redo that. So we're saying if our ostrich's X is smaller than... What am I doing, man? What? If our vulture's X is greater than our self.x, our ostrich's X, then ostrich is on the left. Then we need to do all this stuff. Okay, so now the question is, do we set our X to 0 if a enemy vulture walks into us? I'm hoping it does, because we've got the code for it here. But I've got very little faith that changing nothing will have changed something. So let's see. We want it to move left. Okay. See, this is our whole problem. Like, that should detect the left collision for us. I mean, it detects a collision. It says it detects the collision. For whatever reason, when we swapped this to it was greater than, we made it less than, seemingly fix the problem, which makes 0 sense to me. It didn't fix the problem. I don't think we saved it. Smaller than, does that fix the problem? Okay. So for whatever reason, if our vulture X is smaller than our self X, that should mean the left side of our vulture crosses the left side of our ostrich. And that's too late. We want it when it crosses the right side. Yeah. Yeah, it should be the instant the lance goes there. So it should be like if the vulture's X is smaller than... Oh, yeah. Duh. Let's try that. Now the second it crosses our tip, it should register and move us. It's still kind of detected it a little late, right? I'm just curious if I put a plus 30 in there, if it'll detect it sooner. It's not. So what? I feel like our enemy collides function is fucked. One good thing to implement in the future is to do a sort of an update toggle where we can say update all the code unless a flag is triggered. If a flag is triggered, stop updating. So it kind of freezes the instant something happens. So we can say like the instant of a collision freeze. I don't like that changing this doesn't seem to have an effect. I want to detect things sooner, but X is smaller than... I'm looking for... Shoot. Not that, I'll tell you that much. If vulture X is smaller than self.x plus self.width. That's what I want. That's what I want. But that's not soon enough. Like, enemy collides. Let me look at our enemy collides function. If our left side... So this is us ensuring a collision. So how do we know there is a collision? Well, if our ostrich's top side is smaller than the bottom of the enemy, but the top of our ostrich is higher than is below the top side of our enemy, then our... Oh, this is the sides. So we're making sure our left side of the ostrich is on the left of the rightmost side of our ostrich. We're making sure our left side of the ostrich is bigger than the left side of the enemy. Then we're saying if our ostrich is smaller than, the top side of our ostrich is above the bottom of our enemy, but also the bottom of our ostrich is greater than the enemy. Return true. Okay. And we are returning it true. It looks true. I just don't get why on multiple counts now that the greater than is messing us up, doing the opposite of what we intend. Here. So like, it can't detect a collision any sooner because the function has to be true. But then it says, if our vulture's x is smaller than the right side, I feel like we should do this in terms of our ostrich though, but if our ostrich, see, why can't we just do what I've been trying to do? Why can't we just say, if our ostrich's x is smaller than our vulture's x, then ostrich is on the left. It's literally that simple, right? But we're not going to move. I'm hoping we'll move to 0 upon a collision, but I don't think we will. And we don't until we swap this. But that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. What the fuck, dude? I don't know why this doesn't work. Because we don't want our self x to be bigger than the vulture x by the time we actually do something. We want to do it right when it does it. If our x is smaller than... So if we're colliding and we're on the left, then the end of our box will be in the vulture's position. How do we do this? Well, I'm overthinking this, right? Ostrich is on the left. If our ostrich's right side is smaller than why can't we just say smaller than x? Why can't we just say that? Because our ostrich is smaller. and our vulture X. Why doesn't that work? Why doesn't this reset us to 0? It doesn't make any sense to me. This should just reset us to 0. It doesn't. It doesn't do anything. We're colliding, our Y's are the same. Then we check our X's. I'm gonna say we're gonna check the right side of our... I'm gonna say if the right side of our ostrich is smaller than the right side of our vulture, then we're on the left. Same basic thing as X smaller than vulture X, but this should set us to 0. This should set us to 0. There's no reason this shouldn't set us to 0 upon collision. And it doesn't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. We need to figure out this side detection. We need to give a thing that we can say is only true when the ostrich is on the left, but for whatever reason the X position doesn't control that, or this doesn't, God damn it. Where do I even put it? What do we do differently to fix this? We need a different way of detecting the side collisions. So like, what's the difference? What's the difference between a left collision and a right collision? I wanted it to be as simple as self.x smaller than vulture.x, because why wouldn't it be? But we need to do something different. So yeah, with this, with this collision, if we're colliding on the left, our X is smaller. And if we're colliding on the right, our X would be bigger. So yeah, I don't get why none of that is working. If it's almost like if we just turn this off, no. Like I want to take this X and I want to do it just upon collision. So I'll put it here. I'll say if our Y's are equal and we're colliding, set my X to 0. Sorry, man. I gotta come at you out because you're just breaking shit. Mother. Why does shit break down here? Like, when was the last time I was down here? Oh. We're just missing an end somewhere. Or have too many ends. Okay. Jesus. Bro, what is going on? Okay. Okay. So yeah, we collide and we change our position right away. That's what should happen. See, I feel like that should be so much faster than it happens. I feel like that should be so much faster, guys. The very frame it detects a collision, it should set us. But it looks like it gets us pretty far, so I'm a little baffled by that. Yeah. Shoot, man. I don't know why the just checking X doesn't work. I really don't know why. I really don't get that. But we're getting us to set. God, it's like, yeah, we have basic collision still after 6 hours of working on it. Collision detection, but not any logic to go with it. Upon a collision, the smaller X should be the thing that's on the left. So, if it's a smaller... You know, if ostrich X smaller than vulture X, then we're gonna put you at 0. And the weird thing is, this just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Even though it looks like it should work. It should reset us upon a collision here, but it won't work. Are we updating our X after the fact? Okay. I don't know why it's not working. It's sad that it's been like 6 hours on this and it feels like I made no progress of getting the side collision detection working on the vultures. It shouldn't be, I really don't, if we're colliding, whichever person's X is smaller. Actually, that's not actually technically true. Because if we're looping, oh god. We're looping at the wrong screen. Okay. What do we do? We need to come up with a version of the side collision detection that actually works. I can't understand why the X position isn't good enough. I really can't. I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do, which is we're initializing our ostrich class with a field called update, and we're assigning it true. Then we're gonna say update, update all of this if self.update, then do all this. And we need to indent all this and add an end at the end of it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm getting terrified. I'm getting terrified. Where's our draw function? Where's our draw function? Okay, indent all this. Add an end. Now we say we only update if we're update flag is true. So we say if update, then all that shit. But in our update function, we set our update to false upon a collision so we can do some debugging. So if enemy collides, how about you just don't update anymore? And we'll see what that looks like. Update up boolean value on 77 play state. Play state. But we don't update our ostrich. Vulture. We update. What are you telling me? Attempt to call method update. What method update? Maybe instead of calling it update, we call it something different, because I think update is taken. I don't know, refresh gets true, but then upon vulture collision, you're actually refresh false, and in our update logic only happens if we're self.refresh. So now let's try it, see what it yells at us. Okay, so I'm hoping to just stop updating upon a collision detection. Just any collision detection. If enemy collides. Then how come? What, I can still collide with it? It stopped me updating. Didn't stop everything updating. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah, it would only stop Ostrich from updating. Which means we need it outside of Ostrich. Fuck. But the collision detection. Okay. No, we're okay. Here. We'll take it out. Okay. Let me see. Still okay with this. Okay. So we're taking refresh out so that we can actually put it in our play state. And we say we only do any of this if self.refresh, then do all this. And I need an end. And then if self-refresh do that, we need a refresh variable that gets true, and then we need to assign, after we update this stuff, we can say if player 1 enemy collides with our vulture, then refresh gets false. So now when we collide, we should just stop updating everything because I want to print some values for debugging. So our colliding is backwards, man. Colliding is only true. Yeah, we did wrong on our colliding. Let's do it from scratch real quick. Instead of returning true, I'm going to return a false if it's impossible. So here's axis aligned bounding box collision. Here we go. We're going to first check our X positions. So if the left side of our ostrich is greater than the left side of our ostrich is greater than the right side of our enemy. So enemy's X plus enemy's width. Or the right side of our enemy, of us, the right side of us is smaller than the left side of the enemy. Then I'm going to check the Y's, and if the top of us is greater than the bottom of our enemy, or the bottom of our ostrich is smaller than the top of our enemy. And that would return a false collision. Otherwise, return true. Let's run the same code again and see if we freeze 92. Hold on. What is going on here? What is going on? Where's the table? Enemy collides. Enemy collides an update. We wrote enemy collides, right? Enemy collides. Enemy collides. You know, I'm just looking at our collidables and we have it set up bottom colliding and right colliding and everything. So that's kind of one point to the separating out into multiple functions, but just do D9 on play state. Okay, come on. Come on, dude. 92, enemies in nil value. Same error. Yeah, can't compare number with table. This is not a... I'm not doing that. God damn it, dude. Oh, here. And our right side is smaller than the leftmost side. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so our colliding is clearly wrong because we're returning a true collision there. If our y is greater than... Oh, you know what? Fuck. If our y, if the top of our bigger than the bottom of theirs, or the bottom of ours is smaller than the top of theirs, return false, otherwise return true. Yeah. Let's try that. Disgusting. We shouldn't be detecting a collision when he walks above us. Okay. Okay, that's weird. Our colliding is not working correctly at all. It's a little disheartening, to be honest. I guess that's a collision. See, like, that should have been a... Instead of switching our player's X there, which it was probably switching because of this line right here. Shoot, no, I commented that out. When are we moving into 0? Right here. Here, we'll take this out. We'll just do the collision. And hopefully it freezes as soon as it touches us. Perfect. Okay. So now that collision's working, okay, so that's working. Now, if we cycle through, oh my God. I'm gonna try this one more time. If our X is smaller than Vulture's X, then we're on the left side. And if we're on the left side, there's 4 different things we gotta do. We gotta say we're both facing right, then explode Vulture, because we hit him in the butt. Else if we're facing right and Vulture's facing left, if we're facing right, Vulture's facing left, then we need to reset our DX, reset our Vulture's DX. If we're facing right and Vulture's facing left, we need to bounce both of us. And then we need to reset our vulture's X position to be the right side of our ostrich. Okay. So now let's see if that logic is working. I don't have very much faith at all. But actually we should turn off the spawning, or turn off the collide trigger. Our collide trigger is refresh under our play state. Yep, we'll just turn that off for now, and we'll see if our logic is working. So we did collision for same Y's, same colliding, swap our DX. That's exactly what should happen. But since that's the only case we have, I want to make sure it swaps our DX, so I'm giving us a DX to swap, and we should kiss and then turn. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we've got the kiss and turn. That's like the first time we've got that working in 6 hours, it feels like. But if you look, that was the first time I did this code for our vulture being on the left, or our ostrich being on the left, and it actually worked. So I'm very thrilled about that. I don't know what the difference is. Other than having better colliding, proper colliding boxes. I think I messed up the colliding actually. But let's just do these other two. Which is, we have left and right. So if we look at our old code, we have a left, and right gets this. So left and right, we're facing left, they're facing right, and we collide. Then we need to bounce us and not change them. We actually need to reset our X a bit. We'll set our X to be equal to the vulture's X shifted by our width. So now, if this one isn't so important for when we're grounded, when our Y's are equal. So if we're facing left and the vulture's facing right and we collide. Yeah, this is actually kind of impossible. Because we can only be moving right if we're in the air, and we can only collide right when the vulture's facing right, if we're going faster. So this one can't really work, but I guess we'll put it there anyway, and then we'll do the last one. We'll say if we're facing left and the vulture's facing left, that means we need to die. So we would go self-exploded. Now let's turn this on and see if collision's working for all the grounded equal Y positions. So does it swap our DX? Yes. Does it kill us? No. it should set us to be exploded. If we're facing right, we're facing right, vulture facing right. Oh, because we don't have left collision yet. We have right collision. So we need to put the... Damn. God damn, okay, whatever. We'll try it. This is the... ostrich on right. And if ostrich is on the right, and we're facing right, and the vulture's facing right, then we need to be exploded. If we're facing right, and the vulture's facing left, that means the vulture needs to bump. That one can't really happen though, but we should still set it. Vulture's X gets right side of us. Well, if ostrich is on the right, we would set it to the left side of us, so we would do a minus vulture width, I would think. And then if ostrich is on the right, we're facing left, vulture's facing right, then we need to bump each other. No. Oh no, yeah, if we're facing left, vulture facing right. Yeah, we need to bump each other. Reset the vulture. Then if we're facing left, the vulture's facing left, then we kill the vulture. So let's try all the Y combinations now. Like, does this kill us? It does kill us. Does it kill us again? You son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah, if you hit our butt with the joust, you kill us. But if we're standing, you'll just swap our DX. That one's not working. Ooh, that one's not working at all. That's if we're moving left and a right collide. So if it's a right collide, ostrich is on the left. We were facing left, and the vulture was facing right. We wanted to not swap our, no, yeah, swap our DX. Yeah, oh, okay, ostrich was on the right for that. And we were facing left. The vulture was facing right. Yeah, we should swap both of our, god damn it. So, the thing I'm worried about, hold on. Okay. Damn it, dude. That's like triggering the right one, right? Because it's moving it to the right side. God damn it. So it means this shit isn't working again. God damn it. Okay. I'm not gonna figure this out right now. I don't know what to do with this. We started getting parts working, but it's just not all working, so I'm gonna get add with a message saying middle of rehauling vulture collision, so that we know if we ever restore to this point that it's kind of a shit show, because it is. But we coded for today. That's all we wanted to do. Very confused on a lot of things, but we can figure it out piece by piece. We just got to figure it out piece at a time. But yeah, part of me is thinking I really do need to make two. I've spent 3 episodes getting away from trying to make side collision functions, but I think we do need to implement side collision functions. But what's weird is we can trigger, I don't know how to do it. Because that's the tricky thing, is like with axis aligned bounding box collision, if you trigger a collision, you trigger a collision. It's not like you get anything other than on or off. But then we can say like, hey, if your X is, if your X is in the bottom right quadrant, then it's a bottom right collision. If your bottom left is in the top right quadrant, then it's a top right collision, and do it that way. So we base it on one corner. Yeah, if we base it on one corner that's in the square, how would we do that? We would just say, given a collision, here, let me try to visualize this, because I think this makes sense. I should do this actually in Sprite, because that's easier than GIMP in my book. So, just give us 1,000 by 1,000. I just want to see if we have a square, right? We have a square that's our character. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate this layer, make this square 1, make a new layer, and actually turn this to be square 2. So I'm just trying to figure out what's in common with all collisions and what isn't. So like, I think what I'm feeling comfortable trying to explain is that if you notice in a collision, it could be a perfect side collision if the y's are equal. But if the y's are not equal, then only one corner is going to be inside the box at any given time. So like, one corner's in the box, but how do we determine which corner? Because I'm trying to say, like, if we're trying to do a right collision detection, I was saying, upon a collision, whoever's X position was lower is going to be left. So this would be 10 on the X, but this would be 20 on the X. 10 would win out, meaning 10's lower. So like, how does that not work? It's one of my first questions. But then, shoot, yeah, like, how would we do this true side collision? Because if we split it into halves, right? If we split it into quadrants, or even just halves, we split it into halves, then, oh, come on. Really? Where is the... Okay. So yeah, it's like, if we split it, we can do AABB collision on just that, which this would be this. But look, we get messy when we're here. If we're there, which half of is it in? As far as the game's concerned, it's like, no, right collision, no, left collision. And then whatever order we choose to do that, it will just override it. So like, but then we can't just do it arbitrarily, because even if this would trigger a left collision, which is technically true, but maybe we have to do some new axis aligned bounding boxes that only returns true when, you know, for the right collision, it would be like true, false, not right collision. Actually, I would still ideally like the right collision to be triggered here. How do you do it? Because if you determine that side, then when you're in here, you just get all the mixed up shit. And we shouldn't really ever get to this point without colliding, but it's not completely crazy, because if tier 5 vulture's got, you know, a fast DX and we've got a fast DX, we're moving in opposite directions. We could go this far into each other before the frame, you know, updates, before we register that collision. I'm gonna have to just figure more stuff out. We had to do something similar for the collidable platforms. So, you know, we are checking. Fuck, yeah. I'm gonna have to look at this later. I think with all of this problem, I'm imagining with just the shoot, I don't know how to check it. How do we check what type of collision is it? It's like we check. It's almost like we can check the middle point. I mean, yeah, why can't we just, you know, if the black is our ostrich, the purple is our vulture. If we're colliding and our vulture's X is smaller than our vulture's X, then our ostrich X means we're a left collision, even up until here, which would be correct. But that was never working any of today when we were trying it. Then when we say we're colliding, if our vulture's X is smaller than our ostrich X, then it's a left collision. But none of that was working either. So maybe we give that one more shot and see if we could figure out the side collision with that. I really think it should be that simple. I don't know why it's not. But if we could figure that out, you know, because it's like we need to print, if we print these values live, we can see why this code isn't executing properly. So now that we've got that refresh function implemented that we can pause upon collision, we can hopefully figure out these problems. But yeah, I already posted. Thanks for watching. we will continue to make progress.